Hello, everybody, and welcome to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. I'm just going over a couple finalized things. I got to record this because we have to. And I think we got everything up. I think we're ready to go. I think we're all here. I'm Ryan Maloney. Joining me, as always, is the incomparable, the one, the only, especially in the Bird household, Randall J. Bird.
That's right. And Happy New Year to all of our listeners.
This is the first show of the year of 2025. I wasn't quite sure we were going to make it, but it seems we have.
Yeah. Well, you know how I know we've made it?
Why?
When you start to see the entourage of El Rey, the grape one, start to approach the podium.
Just make sure they don't touch him, Randall. Good job.
Yeah.
No, there's no touching of the El Rey.
I think I've already messed up this wine thing already.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did you eat everything already? All right. Well, let's do that then. Yeah. El Rey is here, everybody. Yes. He's in the building.
Happy New Year, Ray. Now, you gave me a piece of chocolate.
Well, wait. Did you eat it already?
Well, no, I almost did.
All right.
But that's why I think I missed
before we get to that, the show before the show, we always end up starting on something.
Yeah.
So I answered the phone, and Randall asked me if there was protocol when I was a child of how to answer the phone at my house.
Right.
Now, my parents never gave us a protocol, and we just said hello. And when I get to the store, I got to have it go, hello, how may I help you? It's how I answered the phone when I got to my teenage years.
Right.
Because I was just so used to answering the store answering the phone at the supermarket.
Right.
Right. So, but give me the breakdown of how a proper way to answer the phone is.
In the Bird household, you'd have to answer the phone, Bird House, and then your name, so-and-so speaking, so that they knew they were talking
you answered,
about.
So what? How would you say?
They know how they got it. Bird House, Randy Bird speaking.
Randy Bird speaking.
Randall Bird speaking.
Yeah.
Now, there's another factor that we don't really talk about much in our post-traumatic growing up, which there's one of those egg timers by the phone.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to be on the phone for longer than 3 minutes. Or the egg timer, you'd flip over the little hourglass sand thing.
Oh, wow. Now, what? Now, we on a party line or something?
No,
how's this going?
To keep the phone line free if my sisters or myself wanted to have it wasn't me, have a long conversation that went over it, and you could not answer the phone during dinner time.
But isn't okay? Can I ask the question? Is that more? And I understand that, but isn't if the phone is in, let's say, the kitchen or close to the kitchen dining room area, isn't that more annoying? Not answering the phone because
you had to notify people that we knew that you could not call between the hours of 6 and 7.
Okay, no one listens to that. So the phone rings. So what happens? You all are eating. Are you talking and the phone just ringing? The phone
would get picked up and then put down on the receiver and hung up on the person.
So somebody did have to get up and answer the phone.
Well, it was kind of close to the table, but yes. And it had one of those cords that could get to the 3 rooms.
3 rooms down. Yeah, I have one of those too.
But yes, my sisters were infuriated because they'd have to turn the timer over from the minute that they answered the phone until when they had to.
Did the introduction didn't count?
No, that was part of the 3 minutes.
That was part of the 3 minutes. All right.
Or whatever it was. I'm not sure. It may have been like a 4-minute timer.
I just sometimes have to dive into these things, and I apologize to everybody else that has to listen along. Ray.
Yes, sir.
It's El Rey is here. El Rey is the first. It's the first show of the year. Mm-hmm. And what do you have for us today for the wine of the week?
So the wine of the week, Ryan, there's an old saying, an old song that says, "Baby, it's cold outside."
Yeah.
And I don't think you're allowed to sing that one anymore.
No, I guess you're not politically correct. But it's cold out, and this is a great time to have port. And so I thought we'd show the Taylor Fladgate 10-year aged tawny port. So for you folks out there that are not familiar with port, it's considered a dessert wine.
Okay.
It is made from indigenous grapes from Portugal, actually along the Douro River in Portugal. Up to 13 grapes can be used, but the 4 basic grapes are Tinto Ruiz, Tinta Caió, Touriga Nacional, and Touriga Franca. So these are the grapes that are used. I could go into probably a half a day little seminar on the making of port. So I'll try to be brief because I know we have time constraints. But the difference between a ruby and a tawny port is a matter of a reductive process as opposed to an oxidative process. So the wine that is fermented
Yeah.
is ruby red, so you can get ruby red port. So there's no oxygen getting into the wine. With a tawny port, this is aged in 600-gallon barrels, and of course they're not oxygen proof. So the air is getting in there, and over time, the ruby red color turns into an amber color.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
So with port wine, it's basically distilled spirits added to it. And the reason it's added to it is because you want to ferment about 50% through the process. You want to kill the yeast so there's no further
Right.
fermentation. So you introduce the neutral spirits, which are about 77% alcohol.
Okay.
And it leaves.
What is it? They say, what is that made out of? Is it sort of like brandy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brandy basically. It's
yes.
it's distilled grapes.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So what we have here is the amber color. It's been aged 10 years in
Okay.
the barrels.
Nice.
There's no further maturation after that. And you get that caramel flavor. You get apricot. You get cocoa. You get dried fig. A lot of things going on here. And for me, I like it with cheeses, especially
Yep.
salty type cheeses like Stilton, blue cheese, Maytag, Gorgonzola, those type of cheeses.
Okay.
Great with obviously chocolate dessert. Here, y'all got a piece.
I gotta
of
keep it a Ghirardelli dark chocolate sea salt caramel. So you add a little salt in there too, which is
a little
nice.
salt in there too.
What's the ABV on this?
18%.
18%. Okay.
18%. Right.
So not crazy, but a plate of cheese and a couple. You have to be careful. All right, so a little bit higher than most normal wines.
Well, you don't.
It's fortified wine, but
Yeah. So I mean, you don't drink this like a glass of red wine or a glass of white wine.
oops.
And
Should have said something sooner. This is gonna be a fun show. All right, let me try this with the chocolate.
So you didn't bring me the chocolate just as a little treat. It's supposed to be paired with this.
it's supposed to be paired with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, for
I've
me,
become accustomed to people bringing me treats.
during the holiday season, people we sold a lot of port between Thanksgiving and New Year's, and a lot of people have this with pecan pie. Creme brulee is a perfect match with it. Chocolate desserts, like I said, cheeses, dried fruits, even fresh fruits, nuts, walnuts, almonds.
Randall,
Perfect match.
all the nuts, the whole nut family.
So this
Well,
is
not delicious.
Not
It's a
how
little bit richer than I
Randall
would have
nut
thought,
speaking.
and I think that's part of the style, right?
that's
It's
the
really
style.
good.
Is it? Yes.
So there's a whole slew of fortified wines, right? Essentially bolstered by a distilled spirit. Sherry is another one.
Sherry is
Madeira.
another one. Madeira is another
Yeah.
one. Yep.
And this is a style that helps preserve it, or just to get a little bit more alcohol in for the point, or is it all part of making the taste the way it is?
The purpose of the distilled spirits is to stop the fermentation of the grapes.
Right.
So basically, and this is what keeps the residual sugar in 50% of it. That's where you get the sweetness
Right.
of the wine.
This is delicious.
So
and-
the yeast would keep eating the sugar,
Yes.
but at some point, when, like in a beer, for example, if they've used up all their fuel, which is the sugar, then they can die in their own ethyl alcohol waste, which is what they're adding back in to just kind of stop the yeast.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Correct. Yep.
it's good.
Yep.
I like it. This is really good. How much is this? Say
This
what
is-
it is again.
So it's Taylor Fladgate,
Yep.
10-year aged tawny. This is $32.99, and it's 15% off. And here's the thing about port. This particular style of port will last up to 3 months. And what I like to do with it, you're not pouring it like a regular glass of wine. So what you want to do is put it in the fridge
Okay.
up to 3 months.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow, that was good.
So I think it's where it comes with the term any port in a storm, the heavier weather and the colder weather.
Yes.
But we're going to take a commercial break, be back on the other side at WCRN's It's the Liquor Talking here on AM Radio 830 on your dial. Please stay tuned.
Quoting somebody else, that's a good port pick. It really is. That's a really nice port. I like that. You know, one of the things that people don't talk about, and we talk about it, Randall and I, all the time, how well chocolate goes with whiskey.
Yeah.
And port is sort of
Or
the
any
other, like that
blend.
heavier wines, fortified wines. Chocolate seems to go with them also.
Yeah, perfect.
They're like
match.
perfect pairings. But this is really, really good, Ray. Thank you
We're
so much.
also on a mission to have people drink more port,
I know.
drink more sherry, drink more Madeira,
We need that.
because the casks, the true casks, not ones that have just been seasoned with it,
Right.
have a profound effect on a lot of the whiskeys and products that we also like. So this has kind of been a style that was huge probably in the 60s and 70s, but less popular now. You're saying over the holidays, of course, the spike. But
I
With
don't
the
think-
time, it usually goes up, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Right?
in the cold weather, you know, it's just if you happen to have a fireplace, whether it's gas or a log,
Just as long as you're not in it.
yeah, there's nothing better. I mean, for me, sitting in front of a fire with a plate, some crusty baguettes, the cheeses, the nuts, some fruit, good to go. Good
Yeah.
to go with this. So
That's
yeah.
really, really nice. I like this one a lot. The other thing is to remember, since we're hitting dry January, Randall, is to pick yourself up a dry sherry. You know, have that
Right.
dry January.
Yeah.
You really should. You
a
really
dry gin, perhaps.
should. Yeah, nice dry gin,
Yeah.
dry, you know, but
I don't
dry
think that's
sherry
the-
in
I don't
particular.
think that's the point of dry.
Oh,
January.
it's not. Oh, sorry.
But yeah.
My bad.
Well, I'll give you a little heads up. So not only are we doing this, the wine of the week today, obviously, but it's going to be in the newsletter. So people who read our newsletter will
Yeah.
Lick it.
read this. But also I'm putting in there a dry sherry as well for
There you go.
a
Put
wine
dry
pick.
January.
We're going to do a Amontillado, which is a dry sherry.
Amontillado.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
There's
a
a
good one.
cask in the wall of my house.
Is there?
Yeah.
Does it contain a body?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We should find
I
out.
don't know.
All right. Thank you, Ray. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Happy New Year
Same
and
to you. Same to you. Thank you.
prosperity and selling a lot of wine in the new year.
Absolutely.
Great job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Johnny, you
With
want to
that,
jump up?
He leaves and he's throwing chocolates and little tidbits out as he exits.
For the children, he says. For the children in their port. You know what the bad part about this is? You know, if Jen gets any word of this, I now have to bring port home.
Right.
We had port. We have a bottle of port open right now at the house. So
And you'd have to bring more.
I'd have to bring more because she said, "What's the one Ray was talking about?"
Because
gonna
I'm
bring
going
that
to
one
get the
too.
call about, well, what happened with those chocolates?
Yeah. Well, the chocolates are dead.
Yeah.
Chocolate's gone bye-bye. And that's the whole thing is like I take these squares and I put the whole. You know, don't give him more.
Yes. Thank you.
It's a
You're
mistake.
saving my relationship. Thank you.
Okay. Ray gave Randall another square of chocolate.
Right.
Who's taking bets right now if that makes it home?
Well, I'll have to check.
She's
and
not
see if it's
watching.
Still
Hey,
good.
I just to let you know, she's not watching right now on Facebook, so she doesn't know about the chocolate.
She knows. Trust me.
So it may be good. Hey, you know, joining us right now is Johnny on the spot himself. Frisky Whiskey is joining the dais today for the rest of the show.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Johnny.
And John, you're going to bring your dry wit to the dry January
It's Rye January, isn't it?
ride.
Well, we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into
and
that. in a minute.
dry.
Yeah. Here we're coming back, so let's we'll start that one back. Actually, when we come back, I want to talk about this. Here, John, take one of these.
Oh.
I gave you one of these because I think we should
see 'em
talk
in the
about some of
morning.
this stuff. Yeah, we'll do the drink of the show though before we do anything else. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. And Ray just left. That port was delicious, by the way. I'm now have to buy port because my wife will insist on it because she loves port.
Well, let's keep the delicious train rolling.
All right. Well, let's do the drink of the show.
Okay.
Now, so I think people have gotten this wrong, and it's just because they're not hearing properly that dry January is not. That's not what it is. It's rye January.
OD.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. So, in keeping with that, this is not releasing until for the general public until Wednesday. All right, but I figure you guys get a little sneak peek of the bottle. This is a rare character presents single barrel series. This is the Lock and Key Rider on the Storm. This is a 9-year-old rye, proofed out at 128.88, so it's cast strength. And this one is actually, they don't tell us where they do it. The mash bill on this one is 70% rye, 25 corn, 5% malted barley. It was distilled in 2015, making it 9 years old, and it was distilled in Tennessee, but it was aged in Kentucky. So
Nice.
That is delightful.
So it's what's in our coffee mug. We're happy to tell you about it. And you're saying this hasn't been released, but you've released some kind of this free range
well, I figure
rye
we need
into
to
our
try it.
glasses. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tennessee, you say?
So these are TKO. It's their coating series that they use. So they use a coating series. Okay. There's a coating series. So this one is a TKO. That's the series number, barrel 216. So they sort of use this as their coating system. They don't tell you where exactly any of this is from, but I will tell you the TKO series is a sought after whiskey. So
That stands for technical knockout, right? In boxing.
yes,
Yes.
we've done that. We've the tops on these are always pink. So when I saw the pink top, I said we got to do something different for this one.
Oh boy.
And I wanted to use Rider on the Storm for this whiskey. And
Spelled RYDER.
yes, RYDER. And so it has a cowboy with a pink shirt, pink hat, and a cape riding a unicorn
Right.
in a lightning storm.
Which is all pink.
Which is all pink. So everything matches. It's really it's
so
visually really
I love it.
really
It's
cool.
awesome.
So if you see it on the shelf, you'll see it. But it is a sought after series anyway. So these are not going
For
to
your
last long.
artwork.
But
Or for the taste of
for the
it.
taste of it,
Okay.
listen. It's really cool what's on the outside,
Is
but
it?
it's what the inside that counts. Your mom told you that, didn't she, Randall?
Yes. Well, when we picked
And this one's
we
inside and
really
out.
liked it, and then something happened with the label. It went nuts.
I love it.
So this one's really, really cool. All right. So now that you guys have tried the drink of the whiskey of the show here, I wanted to talk to you about something that hit the interwebs about a day like yesterday.
All right.
An influencer dies after accepting a 700-pound whiskey drinking challenge. Carthen Canthy gulped down at least 2 bottles of alcohol within 20 minutes.
700 pounds, meaning the pound sterling.
Pound sterling. So that would be like $800, $900, somewhere in the between that.
I would
still?
go to 1,000.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, about that.
So a 20-year-old social media influencer died after being hired to chug whiskey at a party for 700 pounds. Catherine Canthy, I'm probably butchering his name, and I apologize.
Bank Lester.
Bank Lester was a Garland seller who gained popularity after the rap songs that he improvised to intense buyers made their way online. He does some of these really sort of crazy challenges, consuming alcohol as well as hand sanitizer and wasabi in exchange for money.
Right.
And he was hired for a birthday party on December 25th. He arrived at 11. He was dared to drink Regency whiskey. And I never heard of Regency whiskey, so I have no idea what that is. But let's just say it's
Well, it comes in
inexpensive.
a 350 ml
Yeah,
bottle.
I was about to
These
say.
are the things I'm putting together, and
Yeah.
probably questionable as to whether it was actually whiskey,
Oh, that could be too.
right? Because we've seen
Right.
a lot of some of the Asian cultures refer to a brown-colored liquid as
As
whiskey,
whiskey,
but
so
it
it might
has
be-
no
right.
grain-based. No
Some of
distillation.
them are more like rums than they are actual
Right.
whiskey. So, anyways, he did two bottles within 20 minutes. He appeared sick after completing the challenge. Most people would. Vomited and lost consciousness. He was taken to the hospital, pronounced dead The autopsy revealed acute heart failure as the cause of death.
That's awful.
So,
Well-
but you're in Thailand. So on Saturday, police arrested the two influencers in connection with this because they're charged with negligence resulting in death. He was according to Thai law, negligence caused death could result in a jail term up to 10 years and a fine of up to 20,000 baht. So that would be 465 pounds, which would be approximately $700.
Yeah,
Six,
so
$700?
about half of what
Yeah. So
he made.
um. So
Well, wait.
Okay, good.
So he's dead, pretty much. Does he actually get the money, or are they just paying?
Well, he
their
did do it, so
fine out of-
I would say, but I
Who's
found out
collecting?
later that he is like a mentally challenged person. So this was sort of weird, but this is social media users dug up his old post, which the influencer said he performed such risky challenges to support his family. So this
Right.
is sort of the sad part is this guy's actually doing this. I think he is people were telling me he was challenged, but he's willing to be bullied, insulted just to get scraps of money from rich people in order to provide for his family. One of his posts read. He lives with his 80-year-old grandmother who raised him.
Right.
She is in the house with her son and her grandson, just the three of us, and he took care of everything for them. Now he's gone, and they have no idea how they're going to manage. Canty had gone away, promising to return with like a little over 1,300 pounds sterling. They needed to sell overdue payments, the grandmother added. So it's sort of a real sad story all around. But me just pointing this out is just like, don't do some of these. Like you have to watch out these challenges. This is a very dangerous thing. You and I both know that the inherent risk of chugging that much alcohol, Randall, in
Right.
a very short period of time.
Well,
And
it's
just,
not-
but don't like, I don't, what concerns me is all of a sudden this is the next big challenge out there. I'm going to live through this, and people are going to drink 2 350s,
Well, I
So-
just want to, not to dredge up some
700
stuff from
bottles.
the past, but they had a water drinking challenge in which somebody
extreme, right?
died. So
at least if you want.
anytime that you're kind of like overriding stuff, even if it's for like super hot peppers or anything, I would just be like, I know that money's enticing,
Well, it is,
but
and it
at
just
the
shows
same
you.
time, like stop putting out enticements. I think the most interesting factor of this story is the negligence aspect of it. If they
Right.
knew that it was potentially dangerous,
Right.
including the radio station that got sued for the water challenge that the woman
Right.
drank,
Too much water.
hold your wee to get your, you couldn't
money or
use the
something. Right,
bathroom, so
right.
she could win a wee for her child
Right.
for a Christmas present or whatever it was, and you're just.
But this guy's doing like sort of these weird. I get like eating some wasabi and doing some of these other things that they were mentioning in the, I don't know about hand sanitizer. That's another one that's like,
Right,
you
but
know, it could be
that's
off
going
sort
to
of
be
limits.
like the whole social media thing has gotten into how can you push the envelope?
Yeah,
And
don't
if
do
it's
this.
going to
This is
be-
the important
If it's
part.
going to be normal, there's not going to be any way that you're going to make money or be able to influence on it.
Just
It's
think
like,
of the amount of people. in
hey,
the-
I'll pay you $5 to
Yeah.
eat a hamburger. I'm like, nobody's going to watch that. Right, but you know what I'm saying? It's
Well,
like-
the thing was is you're going to eat a hamburger and we're going to pay people to watch it.
Right.
That would be the cruel and unusual punishment of that.
But what bothers me is like, just think of the amount of people that were probably involved in that chain and nobody said no. Right.
No,
Just-
I
well,
agree
because
with
they
you.
don't want to, because they're all going to make money off this thing,
when that's
and it's ridiculous.
Well, it's the
It's
spectacle.
ridiculous.
It's the bread and circuses. It's the spectacle. He's at a party. They've hired him to do this. I just don't understand. Like, here's maybe my sort of thing. I don't understand what pleasure anybody gets out of
Right.
watching this.
yeah, right.
Is somebody to do it and to drink that much. It's at a party. So
Like-
you're sort of like, you hired this guy to do
But
this
even like the
stunt.
people watching it, like if I was there and I saw something like that, like I would like to think I would speak up and be like, dude, no, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
But
Like,
this is what
stop."
this guy does, and this is how he pays.
Yeah, but
his
why would
family.
you be there unless you knew that was the conditions of
I
what
guess
was
so.
going to happen?
It's just sad all
Right.
around.
I think it's
It's
just
just sad.
It's awful.
on a good note. College binge drinking and stuff is actually down. in the
down.
United
Right, you're
States.
absolutely right.
And so but the challenge now has to get excessive in order to counteract the more reasonable nature of things. So
Listen, we're up here. We talk about how alcohol tastes. We drink alcohol during the show. It's just keep in mind we're doing this in a responsible manner. We hope
Tiny
everybody
amounts.
else is doing the exact same. So it can get away from you. It's great, but don't go out looking for it and doing
well, and
like these type of
this is
silly
a little
things.
late for our favorite amateur drinking holiday of the year, which is New Year's Eve,
Yes.
right? But as you're going to parties, as you're doing stuff, as you're reflecting on things during dry January and not drinking as much, you know, we want people to enjoy things because the longevity of enjoying a little bit over a long period of time, both in terms of sales, knowledge, education, is much better
It's
than
enjoyable.
that
It's tasty.
binge situation,
Yeah.
which is just a horror show. You're not remembering, you're not tasting, you're not doing anything. And it's, I guess, a point of pride, but like, what are you proud of? That's what I
No,
would say. Like,
you're
what's
right.
the point of like, oh, I paid $700 to like kill a guy? Like, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
or to
But-
make somebody who may have some processing issues act foolish. There's no. It just, I think, take a little while to reflect on some of that stuff. We drink on the show, but like the amount that if you're actually watching the show, we're not pounding stuff.
No.
And I was
we're
talking
trying
to
to
Patty,
enjoy
and
it.
she
We're
said
enjoying it.
when I first saw and heard the show, I thought you guys were like hammered. And I'm like, yeah, that's just our natural affect.
You know, and that goes back to like when we talk about a lot of times when we travel, and Randall and I especially travel and pick barrels and all like that type of stuff. Is people go, oh, you guys must have a ball. Like, no, we're like
It's
usually
work.
in bed
It's
by
work.
8, and we have dinner because we're picking like barrels that are worth anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. So we might have like a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 day of picking stuff. You can't go into that hammered.
Well,
or-
after
or
all this
hungover.
serious talk, I think we're going to have to take
All right,
a
let's take a
commercial
break.
break and really let the fun begin on our Facebook Live. So please follow us
Yes.
if you want to see the video version, and we'll take a commercial break on the other side. Please stay tuned.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think of the Ride Around the Storm?
I loved it when we picked it. I thought
That's
this
really,
was one
really
of our
good.
favorites.
This is really good. Very delightful.
I will tell you now that we're not on the air, we'll tell you a little bit of a backstory. So, we got to go through quite a bit of barrels. We had actually picked there was a sample set that we got and we tried. We didn't like any of them, and the guys at Rare Character were very nice and gracious enough to offer us another. They pulled out more
Samples,
samples for us to try, which is where this particular barrel comes from. And this was Randall and I were just like, it was a stunner.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, this is so good. We got to have this one. And that's why we dubbed it Ride Around the Storm.
Now, also in this batch, though, this had been turned down. But like the other thing that I think that a lot of people don't realize is that you're going to get, let's say you have 5 samples. We are confident enough in people's inability to pick whiskey that it doesn't matter if you're the first for those 5 samples. Because generally speaking, we found some of the best stuff that people have passed over because they claim that they know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Ted
Now
is
it's
streaming
bringing
us
in
with
Riders
on the Storm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we know Ted.
But yeah, no, this was one of those fabulous, and it was a series. You know, you had
Yeah, we got and we have right now on the shelf. We can try those today. We have glamping, and we also have white on rye.
right on right, yeah.
So we're actually gonna try those today. When we come back from, well, I'll give you. How about if you guys want the question of the show?
Yeah, let's do the question of the show. I'd like to pour the white on rye because
Yeah, let's
we
do that.
forgot to ask El Rey, the grape one, what about white port? Tawny and ruby ports. we
That's
heard
true.
about,
That's true.
But the
We
white on
missed
rye
we missed a really good opportunity.
is
right
a
now.
white
I blame
port
you.
barrel finished rye. So okay, so what's the question of the show?
All right. The larceny question of the show today, and I'll repeat this when we come back on the air. Founded in 2004, the Museum of American Cocktail is located in what city? That's all I'm going to give you right now. I'm not going to give you the options here.
Founded in what year?
2004, the Museum of American Cocktail is located in what city?
Jeez.
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna. So
We'll
you
come
wanna,
back on
you
the
wanna-
other on we'll answer this on the air, or do we want to do it right now?
No, I say we answer it on the air. We'll let anybody who thinks they know the answer. I haven't given out any multiple choices or not. But if you're watching us on Facebook, you may you can do your guess. Just type it in there so we have it. No one speak it. You need some paper towels.
Yeah, we've already made a mess over here.
All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. And we're being brought to you by, we're at Julio's Liquors on Route 9 in Westboro. You want to know all the pertinent information, go to juliosliquors.com. And it is now time for the larceny question of the show. You ready?
All right.
Founded in 2004, the Museum of American Cocktail is located in what city?
All right.
All right. So you want some choices?
San Francisco.
All right. Well,
Well, that would be, I think, the easy guess. But okay, go for it.
Atlantic City, New York City, New Orleans, or Atlanta. So A is Atlantic City, B is New York City, C is New Orleans, and D is Atlanta. Where it was founded in 2004. So you were alive when it was founded, Randall.
Yeah, barely.
Barely.
I'm gonna say it probably should be in New York City,
Okay.
but I'm gonna guess that a powerhouse company who has a cocktail in their namesake has moved it to New Orleans.
That was the same thought I had.
Which one for San Francisco? Is it you still sticking with San Francisco? It's not on the board,
No, no.
but I'm just checking.
Sazerac
Yeah.
cocktail,
All right.
New Orleans. I had
Yeah,
the same
okay.
train
And they
of thought.
just decided to make it their
Sure.
base.
Well, I love your powers of deductive reasoning. And sometimes they
wrong.
serve you well.
But not
In this case, it did exactly that. It is New Orleans.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to say that New York City should have it or San Francisco for two different reasons. San Francisco, is
That was
because
my
of
original
Trader
thought.
Vic's, right?
Exactly.
And the whole
Yep.
Yep.
kind of cocktail, but
Speakeasy and all that.
tiki
Yeah.
kind of centric is San Francisco. But the classic cocktails that we know and love come out of a lot of the hotel and men's clubs of New York City.
The Manhattan.
Although
Oh,
they
right.
claim that the old fashioned was invented at the Penderis Club in Louisville.
In Louisville.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I think that was a really good guess. And I'm not sure, but the Sazerac House, which they have a place there, I don't think that is exactly the cocktail museum, but it's both. They're located. If it's not, they're both located in the same
yeah.
city. And that, by the way, that's if you go to New Orleans, that's a great place. The Sazerac House is a great place to visit. That's the one that's owned by the Sazerac company, and it's a really cool place to go.
And if you are visiting, and you can bring back either ring cake or beignets,
Randall
I'm
will.
paying top dollar.
You listen. You already got your chocolate. Now you want a ring cake. You want a
The
beignet.
chocolate is just a distant memory, Ryan. At this point, it's already gone.
And just so you know, I mean, it is New Orleans, and our heart goes out to all the people in New Orleans
Yeah.
that suffered this New Year's Eve.
Terrible.
That's just insane. But I want to say, and we had a little bit of incident in Las Vegas too. So craziness abounds. Keep your head and shoulders about yourself, and keep an eye out. And if you see something, say something. I think that's probably the best that anybody could hope for.
Yep.
All right. All right, Randall Bird.
So we've tasted some stuff, and then we had tried the Riders on the Storm.
Right. Yeah.
Then we had also tried over the commercial.
Well, I have
break,
it now. I
the
haven't tried it yet.
Rye. Oh, I'm already finished.
Oh, you already
White
finished?
on rye,
White on rye. I will tell
which
you
is
that
a port finish,
yeah.
but a white port finish on rye. We didn't name this. Some
We
of
did
the
not.
people that we were working with came up with this name. We thought it was a great name.
it was
and so
Russell.
we-
I will give him with credit
Yeah.
is due. Russell Allen from MS Walker is the one that came up with the name White
Yeah.
on Rye, and
Yeah.
I think it's a really good name. And we said we're going to steal that.
And then, of course, the tie-in earlier today, we were having a delicious port,
Yeah.
but it was about ruby and tawny ports. And
Yeah. We didn't ask about white
Yeah.
port.
All
We're
right.
going to have to next time. We'll have to make a note of that, John. We'll have to nail down him on next time. We'll ask Ray how they do the white port.
And this our safe place was the port and the storm, right?
Right.
It ties them all together.
So, right, Riders on the Storm is very
Completely
rich,
different whiskey.
but this one has a very dry kind of edge to it.
Yeah, this is a completely different whiskey. It's really good. I do
That is
like this one a lot.
fantastic.
This one is available to try. We have the bottle open. This one is available to try. So please do.
But the pink Riders on the Storm will be available for sale later this week.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue. Whiskey Wednesday coming up this. Well, it's next week, but the next Whiskey Wednesday.
Yeah.
Which is what's the date on that one? Like the 7th?
8th, I think.
7th or 8th? Okay, 8th. I'm going to be doing What's New.
Okay.
And this one is going to be released on that Wednesday because we should have it in. That one's going to be released on that Wednesday, and you'll be able to purchase there. But I will also be doing a series lineup, and you'll be able to try it.
Okay.
So you know what we should talk about is going from the French Quarter, New Orleans, ties into French Canada, which is
So you want to do that one next?
golden bread.
Did we try golden bread last time? I couldn't remember if we did or not. I don't care because I love golden
It's
bread.
so good.
It's so good. I really don't care. Randall, that is the short squatty bottle right there.
I know I poured a lot of this
Did you?
last week or a week and a half ago.
Yeah, when we released it
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. It's been a while, guys.
Yeah,
It's been a
time has
while.
flown.
Here, I'll
Yeah.
just give you those rather than I was trying to separate them up for you, but I guess that was a mistake.
Okay.
Golden bread.
So this is a Found North product.
Yes, this is a
Yeah.
barrel we picked from our good friends at Found North.
Try not to.
I
spill
will
this
let you
all
know.
over the
Here's
table.
the name of this one is called Golden Bread, which is our good neighbors from the North, Canada.
Canadian.
This is their answer to French toast. Is called Golden Bread. It's usually a little bit more eggier than regular French toast, but it's this one is comprised of 5 distinct components. It's a 22% 21-year-old corn whiskey, 10% 20-year-old corn whiskey, 39% 15-year-old corn whiskey, 7% 8-year-old wheat in new oak matured, and 22% 8-year-old wheat in ex bourbon. So leaving the overall ratio is 71 corn, 29 wheat. And then what makes this difference is they're toasting the barrels with other woods. In this case, they're toasting the barrel with American cast with chunks of American oak to a heavy toast and a char 1 profile. That's supposedly the difference on this one.
Well, and it's not a bourbon.
This is not a bourbon.
It might be a bourbon type mash bill that you would consider
Right,
a
but
weeded
it's not a
bourbon,
bourbon.
but this is Canadian whiskey, and therefore does not have to have the virgin charred cask.
Right.
Although you're getting a lot of that same great bourbon flavor that people look for. This was a real winner when we were tasting it 3 weeks
It
ago.
was like insane.
And I think this is like kind of like the portent or the herald of what I think we're going to start to see a lot of in 2025. And that is vertical aging
Right.
and blending and batching to get flavor instead of just a distinctive singular note of a single barrel expression.
Well, we've actually been talking about this for a while. Like this doesn't technically fall into any category except Canadian whiskey.
Right.
Right. We just did the Old Elk, which follows. It's basically a 4 grain, but it doesn't fall into any. It's not so much worrying about hitting a category as it is hitting flavor, like flavor profiles.
Right.
So this one is. I mean, I call this my breakfast whiskey because it does. There's hints of cinnamon. There's hints of cinnamon. There's hints of like a little bit of like butter in there.
Just a
and a
tiny drop of maple. on
maple
there.
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it hits all of those things.
Without any of that stuff being added.
No, it's not added.
like
This is
it's
just
part of the
naturally
profile
occurring,
of
right?
what's happening.
Yeah. So
But,
I mean,
but I'm saying that you're going to see things instead of just a one-off single barrel, the best barrel you could possibly find, mixing, matching, batching, blending
Yeah.
is going to be the future. Even though this is like a single barrel worth of product that you
Right.
purchased,
right.
it is the
It's all about
getting
the
to
blend.
more layers and flavor
Right.
through this like process, including one of the things that we're going to try and explore later in the year, the nano batch,
The nano batch.
which is smaller than a micro batch.
How can you get smaller than a micro batch, Randall?
Well, we'll talk about that in
All
the
right.
future. So it's on the book.
I actually know. I'm just playing along with this little game.
Yeah. But
So-
yeah, this is quite delicious.
It's really
and this
good.
Got
This is
released.
available now. This is $110 right now. As you can see, the average age of this is like, I mean, the things that make it up 20, 21, 20, 15, and 2 8-year-olds. That's what makes this up there. And so average age is up there.
Significant.
Yeah.
But again, I want to caution people on just instead of looking at the age statement,
taste
which
it.
will add to complexity and flavor. Worry about the flavor and the fact that $110 for some stuff that's up to 21 years old is fantastic.
Yeah, and actually, that's one of the things that's coming out of our friendly neighbors to the north, is there is whiskey coming out of there that as higher age, price points are a lot more affordable for what you're getting.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, especially
For now.
for now. Well, for now, but
You always start with something, and then later, when bourbon was the affordable category, those
Yeah.
days are over. When Japanese whiskey was the affordable category, right?
yeah, absolutely.
So once people catch on to the great whiskey aging in Canada,
Well, that's why that you
I
do
think
have
you're
to
going to see
be
that price climb. But for right now, it's
right now. Yeah,
fantastic
you do
value.
have to be on the thing. And by the way, no one wants to talk about the great whiskeys that are coming out of Canada. As a matter of fact, people are like, oh, it's not bourbon, you can't sell it. Let people try it and show them the price point that what they're having, and you'll sell it. It's just a matter of education and tasting.
I
that
wrote,
will
I wrote
bring
up
it
some
around.
notes on this on Friday and posted them, and it's got a lot of hits. There's like a lot
Yeah,
of
Frisky
people are
Whiskey
coming-
actually did a review of
It's
this.
like,
It's on my page, and I think
quite a few
I'm,
people asking about
I'll
it,
make
so.
sure Cousin Vinny moves that to the Julio's Liquors page.
But
Or
available
it's
on the
liquor-
tasting table.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you
The
can try this.
definitive answer to your question.
Do you
if
like
you
it?
can make it to the store.
You get to be the judge.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like to be the
But
judge?
thank you for the notes, John.
All right, we're gonna have to take a break. When we come back to the radio show, we're gonna talk about a whiskey we stole, and during the break, I think we'll try some stuff. The show within the show. If you're on
right.
Facebook, you're gonna get a hit of this.
Please
But we're gonna
stay
try some
tuned
stuff,
through our
so.
last commercial break before the end of the show, and we'll be back on the other side.
It's the liquor talking. All right. So, Vita Carota, the craft cocktail, they just did it on window. I don't know if you've seen it up there. It looks really good. I wanted to keep trying because they gave me some samples for us to try. This is a spritz. So this is like I don't want to use the brand name, but it's a very popular spritz that everybody gets. That's
From Italy?
From Italy.
Yeah.
And these are carbonated. So they have, and I'm going to pass them down.
All right.
And our studio
So
audience
I
is gonna
am
come
not
get
a
there.
fan of
You're not a fan of Aperol spritz?
no crazy bottle, like a lot of extra glassware adornment,
Okay.
right? Because it adds to the price of something.
It does.
And it also, everybody's trying to make a distinctive looking bottle. But I do have to say that they've nailed it on this bottle. Yeah, it is
I mean,
one of
just-
the best
it's-
looking bottles.
Isn't it
I've
good
seen.
looking? It's a good. Listen, again, I don't drink the bottle, but it doesn't hurt that it looks high end.
Right.
It looks almost
well, it looks like almost
Italian soda.
Italian
soda.
glass from like the 50s or something.
Right. And so it's definitely has a look to it.
The-
And so far, what we've tasted, the products have been really good too.
Right. Well, no. I'm just saying that when I first saw the bottle, I go, oh, more nonsense, more faffery. But it definitely gives you a good purchase on the bottle. It has a grip
Mm.
with the texture.
Well, what do you think of the product?
It
that
grips,
is good.
It grips me as well.
That's good. It's good. It's a good spritz. I mean, if you
refreshing.
don't like spritz, you're not gonna like it. But if you like
So
I do. I like the sort of bitter
heads
flavor
up,
to it.
the slightly bitter flavor of this may be off people putting. If you don't like things like grapefruit or some of the stuff that
Right.
has that kind
Yeah.
of bitter edge, if you do, this is phenomenal.
And
It's also really good
Your
with
mouth
food.
is watering right
yeah,
now.
that's good with food.
And so in a hot summer month, it's like thirst quenching. It's bringing out like a lot of that flavor from that bitterness, but
You drink
it's
other
an-
cold beverages in the winter.
it's an
Randall.
acquired taste.
Yes, I think it is a little, but it's hugely popular.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be like. I mean, it's got to be given right now. Aperol spritz have got to be given. I'm sure. I know it's not close, but it's got to be up there, like number 2 or 3. I mean, Margarita's been number one for a
Right.
long time, and I don't think you're throwing over the champ, but I think it's got to be up there at this point.
Well, my point is, if you haven't had a spritz and you think it's going to be giving you a sickly sweet kind of character,
It's not.
it's not. But those who are enjoying that flavor profile or like the taste of a lot of the grapefruit fresca kind of edge of things,
Yeah.
or Italian bitter sodas like Sam Bitter and some other things that are
Yeah, no,
fantastic,
you're right.
you're going to love this. I think a lot of people come to the category and this will be a little bit of a shock if you've never been introduced to it. I would never spring Moxie on somebody without knowing if they've
As a heads up too, like
ready for it.
I had to check this because it doesn't taste like there's any alcohol in there. It's 11%.
No, yeah, there's alcohol. No, there's alcohol in this.
That'll
Right.
sneak up on you real quick.
Randall, Sid and I were watching the other night. We were watching Salem's Lot,
Me
And-
too.
The old version or the new one?
the new one.
Oh, okay.
New one. I had
The
already
old
seen the
version gave me nightmares.
Yeah,
Me
the
too.
new version ain't that far off either. But we're watching, of course, a lot of the places were around here and stuff like that, and of course, it's supposed to be taking place in like Maine,
Right.
right? So I said to Sid, I go, Sid, she's like, that's pretty cool. We should go to Maine. I go, you want to go to the Moxie Festival? And she's like, yeah, that would actually be good. So I may have convinced one of my daughters at
Wow.
least to
Got it.
maybe. I got to find out when it is and stuff
Did
like
she
that.
hear
but
you correctly?
I don't
Are
think
you
so.
sure?
I think-
Okay.
I caught her at a moment of weakness, I think.
Road trip.
So we'll see how that how that pans out. All right, let's we're about to go back. Let's go back and oh yeah, I got to talk about our stolen product.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on, and we've been touching on some of the things that have been going on in the industry and stuff like that. And one of the things is there's been a lot of sales and buying, of course, of restaurants and closings and liquor stores and closings and all of that type of stuff. So we always keep our eye out. Recently, one of our wholesalers approached us and said, "We have an abandoned barrel."
Oh boy.
And
You're gonna
I
make me
said-
cry.
yes,
It's tragic.
It is tragic. A liquor store that had been sold had ordered picked and ordered a barrel from New Riff, and the new owners don't want the barrel. They don't know how to sell it. They don't really want it. And this is actually a pretty good liquor store in my book. And they said, "Would you want to take it?" And I said, "Well, send me a sample, and we'll go from there." I said, "I know the people there. I'm pretty definite they probably picked a good barrel, but and we just
You
ran
want to
out of
verify that.
Yeah,
You
we're gonna
don't know-
verify
You don't
that.
know what they're trying to pass.
and we
off, do you?
right exactly. Well, we've had some other instances where it's gone terribly wrong. So they did send it to us. John and myself tasted it, and I'm like, damn, that's pretty good. I like that one. We found out that we can sell this for like $50, and I said, damn it, let's do it. So this is Lock and Key Stolen. The name of it's Stolen
All right.
because
So
it's not our
you
barrel
you
originally, but we pick
rebadged it as it were.
yeah, we
It wasn't
took
originally a lock and key pick,
No.
but you put your
we put the Lock and Key
Stamp
logo
on it.
on it, stamp of approval, and that's all. Like again, this is what single barrels are. They have to be extraordinary. A lot of people aren't picking great barrels. Some people are, and it's one of those type of things. Is like, I'll try it. Man, this is good. This is something that I would pick. No
Put-
problem there. I'll take it, and we can offer a really good price for our consumers on something that's actually really, really good.
Can I make a prediction? Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go. You're about.
I was just gonna say we put our arms around it and said it's gonna be okay. Little
It's gonna be
buddy."
okay, little barrel.
Been abandoned.
We got it.
Rescue. This is a rescue barrel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that there will be a certain population that could pop up that only deals in rescue or abandoned barrels,
Yeah,
right? Like a store that might specialize in buying, tasting unseen, just going around and saying, like, bring me all the ones that people have passed on
Well, here's the thing: is like
because they think they're going to snap up something good with this.
right. I don't care how it comes to us, how the whiskey comes to us is not as important once again as to how it tastes.
What's in the
Right. But
So I'm not going to buy. I'm not going to buy close. I'm not looking to buy closeouts or abandoned barrels. There's a couple companies, and here's what they do. There are a couple whiskey companies out there, and here's how they do their barrel program. And there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. And we buy barrels from them. They bottle all of it. So they bottle all the barrels, and they're all coated, and they bottle all of them, and then they go out and sell those barrels. When you buy it, it's already been bottled. So we put the sticker on it, and you get the stuff. So there are ones that haven't been sold to anybody, and sometimes there's a reason they haven't been sold to anybody, because sometimes you don't want to buy what the problem with bottling them all is that now it's done. You can't do anything else with it. If you have something that's
it
sort
is
of
a
off,
snapshot right there. In
yeah,
time.
if it's something off and it was yours and it was just a barrel sitting in your rick house, you can blend that into your regular product. No harm, no foul. As soon as you bottle it, it's got to stand on its own. And we've had a couple of those where we've been saying like, oh, here, try this, and we're like, thank you,
Passed on.
no, thank you.
But my point
Right.
is that in the whiskey industry, and John, you were talking about this before the show, you're kind of amazed at how certain trends start to happen for what, in my estimation, are the wrong reasons, right? Like people get into buying frenzies over things, rumors, the center cut, the, like the hazmat, all these things that I would consider a money ball, I predict are going to lead to a trend where a store's reputation is the fact that they've picked up the pieces of all these things. It's not
Right.
based on what we're talking to do with a sensory
Right.
check to make sure that product's good.
Right.
They're going to define their business model in some sense as having all the rescue barrels or
Barrels there,
abandoned
right.
barrels, and they've somehow ripped from the grasp of these companies all their best barrels that fell through the cracks.
Right.
That was my prediction. And I think that this kind of stuff happens more often than I would like to admit it.
Right.
I've gotten a lot of questions recently with a lot of the smaller distilleries closing and things being on the people saying like, oh, you should get in there. You should buy this distillery. I'm like, the distillery couldn't make it. Like, I'm
Right.
not interesting. Like my unique branded genius isn't like fixing broken distilleries.
No.
Right. And I think that that's the same thing is that you have to be
Well, you have
cautious
people out there
when
sort of
you're
doing
looking
that
at
too.
abandoned
Right.
barrels, but somebody out there will be like,
Yeah, well, I mean, you got people like Lost Lantern that's out there actively looking for cool stuff to actually either put together in a blend or sell on their own. And there are
Correct.
people that are out there doing it.
parts of it,
Right.
not the whole kit
Again,
and caboodle of that distillery.
but again, they are very particular in what they're getting.
Right.
So they're not just going out and finding it's not willy-nilly. It's there's a plan. And
Right.
that's what you have to be, because if you start doing this just like, oh yeah, that one's doing, you give me a price, I'll sell it all. And then like you're going to get into a situation where stuff is not going to be good.
I've seen the effect of that Lost Lantern. So when we did that tasting,
Yeah.
right, everything that they did was fantastic. Like
Right.
and then so there you can see where they're trying to build up that brand, right? And it's worked because a lot of the people, even if we did sell a lot that night, but they've come back again.
Oh,
for
yeah.
seconds or different ones
Oh.
on that, or people who couldn't
Right.
afford it that night came back and got stuff later. I've seen it in effect.
And my pessimistic prediction is somebody's going to look at that and then do it badly,
Yes.
expecting that
Take an
they're
idea
just
and
gonna,
then ruin it.
they're going to run the idea into the ground. And so this abandoned or rescue barrels, right?
Yes.
Somebody is going to take the wrong message from this and then create a business model around it. Somebody will take the wrong message out of the Lost Lantern or independent bottling phase and just try and put out
Whatever they
some
can.
version,
Right. Whatever they
thinking
can.
that they're
They think
genius
it's a money
because
maker.
somebody else has figured out
Yeah.
how to make it work
Oh, absolutely.
instead of them. So I'm not trying to, this is the new year. Hopefully we have much better stuff in the future, but like, you know,
We got some great stuff coming.
Okay,
So I
we
will be
just
coming.
have,
No, we got some great stuff coming. So keep an eye out for that and stuff like that. I have just poured for you guys today. This is from Medusa. This is
love
their
this.
barrel
What is
age
this?
series. This is
Is that a
traveling
beer?
at night. Yeah, it's bourbon barrel aged imperial stout with vanilla beans. This is they're in Hudson here. We worked with them on this. This is actually our barrel, Randall.
Yep.
That we did this. This is an imperial style stout at 11.5 ABV. This is a 500 milliliter. They use Maris, the malt. They use 2-row crystal and chocolate biscuit, roasted barley, hops. They use UK Bramling Cross and UK Target. Vanilla bean. English. The yeast is an English ale, and it's 6 months in a bourbon barrel, bottled in 1224. So just as in December, and this is a new collaboration with us. Traveling at Night is a
Right.
velvety, lush
This is-
imperial stout.
When we say
aged
we
bourbon.
supplied the barrel, you gave them the empty bourbon barrel.
Empty bourbon barrels.
And
We usually
what I
choose at
think
that.
you're going to see, this is a prediction that we made last year and the year before, is that you're going to see much more information about the contents. And even in the rare character labels, everything, people are putting more what the mash bill is, what the
Yeah,
recipe
what everything is.
how they're treating
Right.
the grain, the barley. And so, yeah, it's good to see that
Traveling
some
at
of our-
night, this 500 mil is like $10.
Oh,
It's a real. This
I'm
is my
surprised.
first time trying this, guys. I'm
we
gonna
gotta
try
like
this.
beer.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I do-
well,
this
or chocolate cake.
and I do love beer, and this is right up my alley. This I will
Taste the
definitely
bourbon on this one. This is really
be
good.
taking this home for sure. That is
All right,
really good.
So that's available on the shelf.
That's available right now for $10 a bottle.
And it's showing
it's two local
the Lock and
companies.
Key and their logo next to each other,
Yeah.
which is your new trend to try and show collaborative
Collaboration.
projects.
Yeah. Rather than just projects, rather than just picks.
Right.
And this is one with Medusa, and I think it came out fantastic.
Great winter beer.
Yeah,
That is, like,
yeah, great.
really like.
I am going to. I want to point out one thing. Next weekend, January 11th at 2 to 4, we're going to have. We'll buy into the because we have our own room about it. Dry January. There's actually a Dry January festival of all non-alcoholic products next weekend, January 11th from 2 to 4, and we have a whole room upstairs dedicated to non-alcoholic spirits and beers and wines. So
Thank
please
you for
join us.
listening to It's the Liquor Talking here on WCRN. There's some fantastic events coming up, including later today with kind of unicorn and
Whole card auction.
whole card auction.
Card auction.
Be back next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right. See you later, buddy. Oh, no. Yes, next week we have a show. Yes. All right. Bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Ray.
Year.